Right, now let's talk about business evolution. Puta, it's not a must to write this in your book because actually this is kind of out of syllabus, but sometimes you need this basic knowledge, the history of the businesses, because in some of the MCQs, they might test this knowledge, right? So you can write this or you can keep this in your mind, right? It's up to you to decide.
GCE O-Level, Business and Accounting Studies, Grade 10 and Grade 11, English Medium. Zoom online classes and physical classes. Mahesha Pereira. Join the best result-oriented commerce class.
How businesses evolved, how businesses started, right? How they came into the world. Right, now there is actually some stages in business evolution. There are some stages in business evolution. So if you consider the ancient times, right? If you consider the ancient times, people actually produced what they needed by themselves. ඉස්සර මිනිස්සු තමන්ට අවශ්‍ය දේ එයාලම හදාගත්තා, produce කරගත්තා. Now, for example, they produced the food they needed. They produced the food they needed. And then they produced whatever the clothing they needed. Even they produced the shelter, that means their houses, right? So actually that era or that time period is known as self-sufficiency, right? Self-sufficiency. Self-sufficient era, right? I think let's write this, I'm going to write this in this grid. Self Now, when we write self-sufficiency, we can write self, a small hyphen, and sufficiency. Right? So this is the first stage, right? And remember, this is also known as direct production. Direct production. That means people directly produced whatever they wanted, whatever they needed by themselves. So direct production, right? Produce, production. Produce is the verb, production is the noun. Okay? Right. එතකොට ඔන්න මේක පැහැදිලි නේද? ඉස්සරම මිනිස්සු තමන්ට අවශ්‍ය දේ කෑමද, බීමද, එහෙම නැත්නම් ඇඳුම්ද, යාළෑ ගෙවල් පවා තමන් විසින්ම නිෂ්පාදනය කරා, හදාගත්තා. Right? Now the next stage is, we call it barter system. Remember, this area is essential, right? It is in the syllabus and you should know how to define barter system. Okay? So how do you write barter system? This is how you write. Barter, right? Barter system. Barter system. What is a barter system? What do you mean by barter system? Barter system means people after the self-sufficient era, people actually exchanged goods with other goods to fulfill their needs, right? People exchanged goods with other goods for them to satisfy their needs. ඉස්සර මිනිස්සු ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් self sufficient era එකෙන් පස්සේ පුතා මිනිස්සු පුරුදු වුණා අනිත් තව කෙනෙක් එක්ක තමන්ගේ තියෙන දේවල් එක්ස්චේන්ජ් කරගන්න. කරලා තමන්ට ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් තව කෙනෙක්ගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්න. තමන් ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරපු දෙයක් එයාට දීලා තමන්ට ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් එයාගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්න. හරි එතකොට එතන උනේ එක්ස්චේන්ජ් එකක්. අපි සිංහලෙන් කියනවා හුවමාරුවක්. Okay, did you understand? So Puta, what happened in barter system? People exchanged the goods that they produced in excess with the goods they cannot produce. Are we clear? මිනිස්සු ඒ කාලේ ඒ කියන්නේ දෙවෙනි ස්ටේජ් එකේදී මිනිස්සු කරේ තමන්ට වැඩිපුර හදන්න පුළුවන් තමන්ට හදන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් වැඩිපුර හැදුවා. හදලා ඒ වැඩිපුර හදපු දේ ඒ අතිරික්තය හදන්න බැරි දෙයක් එක්ක ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් එක්ක එක්ස්චේන්ජ් කරා. හුවමාරු කරගත්තා. Right? So we call it barter system. So in your book there is a very simple definition saying what is a barter system? It says system of exchanging goods. Exchanging goods. So let's write with other goods. Right? With other goods. And now do this. Right? Other goods. Just have a subheading saying barter system in your book right now. Right? If you want the business evolution, you can take it down. Just write it down. But as the second subtopic, just have barter system. Write barter system. Right? And then below this, write what a barter system is. System of exchanging goods with other goods. Easy. Right? System of exchanging goods with other goods. And try to study right now and finish it, Puta. That's the best way. I'm again and again telling you. ඉගෙන ගන්න වෙලාවෙම පාඩම් කරලා ඉවර කරන්න. ඒතර එක්සෑම් නම් වෙනකොට පාඩම් කරන්න කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. මතක් කරලා කියන්නේ රිවිෂන් එකක් කරලා papers කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. Right? Right. System of exchanging goods with other goods. That's your definition for barter system. Right, and finish now. Okay, I hope you have written the definition. And I'm going to ask you a question. Puta, can we exchange services for services? Or like, can we exchange service with a good? Of course possible, right? You can exchange services, right? In the barter system, actually, services were exchanged. Remember it, right? In the barter system, even services were exchanged. But your book says, the book talks about only goods. That's why I just put goods. But remember, even services are exchanged in the barter system. Actually, services were, it happened in the past, no? Services were exchanged in the barter system. Okay, clear, right? Right. Another very important point, right? Remember, there is something called trade. Have you heard this word? Actually, you are going to learn this particular area in detail when you go to grade 11. Okay? But for now, what is trade? It's like buying and selling. When you buy and sell goods and services, you call it trade. In Sinhala, you call it veladama. අහලා තියෙනවනේ? වෙළඳාම් කරනවා කියන්නේ නේ? වෙලෙන්දා, වෙළඳාම. Trade, trader, right? So actually this trade arose, right? Trade arose from the barter system. වෙළඳාම පටන් ගත්තේ ඇත්තටම barter system එකෙන් එකත් එක්ක. මොකද මෙතනදී exchange එකක් වුණානේ. දැන් ඉස්සර නම් Tamanට අවශ්‍ය දේ Taman හදාගත්තානේ. නේ? හැබැයි ඊට පස්සේ මිනිස්සු ඒ කියන්නේ parties දෙකක් අතර පුද්ගල පාර්ශව දෙකක් අතර goods exchange වුණා. ඉතින් මේකත් එක්ක පුතා වෙළඳාම පටන් ගත්තා. So remember, trade A roast, right? How do you write a roast? A roast, right? This is what? A roast. This is the past tense of arise, right? Arise. Okay? හටගත්තා, ඇති වුණා වගේ තේරුම, right? A roast from the barter system, right? From the barter system. So remember this, because sometimes you might get this sentence in the paper and they ask you to mention whether it's true or false. So this will be given as a statement for you to write whether that statement is true or false. Trade arose from the barter system. Remember it. Okay? Right. Now, we were talking about barter system. Of course, this is in the syllabus, so you should know this. Right? So as I told you, even services can be exchanged in the barter system. Right? So services were exchanged in barter system. Right. Then let's move on to the next stage in the business evolution. Okay? Did you write the definition? Make sure to write it. Moreover, if you want, you can remember this as well, right? Moreover, please remember, Buddha, the excess of production were exchanged. Sorry, the excess of production was exchanged in the barter system. Remember it, huh? Then what do you mean by this? Let me write this. Excess of production. I told you this in the beginning, no? Excess of production means whatever produced in excess, right? Let's say a person, let's take an example now. A, there is a person called A and he grows, let's say, cabbages. Over cabbages. Right? He grows cabbages. Right. Let's say this person A produces cabbages more than he needs. Then what happens? He can actually exchange whatever the excess production of cabbages with someone else. And he can obtain whatever the goods that he cannot produce. Are we clear with that? අපි හිතමු A කියලා කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. එයා කූව වවනවා. කූව කියන්නේ එළවලුවක් නේ. එතකොට දැන් මෙයා හොඳට වවන්නත් දන්නවා නම් එයාට හොඳ ඒරියා එකක් ලෑන්ඩ් එකකුත් තියෙනවා නම් එයා සමහර වෙලට වැඩිපුර ගෝවා වවයි. එයාට අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට වඩා වවන්න පුළුවන්. අපි හිතමු එයා family person කෙනෙක් නම් එයාගේ ගෙදර කට්ටියටයි එයාටයි අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට වඩා එයා වවන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම වුණොත් ඒ excess production එක වැඩිපුර වවපු කොටස වැඩිපුර නිෂ්පාදනය කරපු කොටස එයාට පුළුවන් තව කෙනෙක් එක්ක exchange කරලා එයාට හදන්න බැරි දෙයක් ගන්න. හරි. Now, for example, let's say he wants rice, right? He doesn't have any paddy field. You know, the field, the paddy field. So, he cannot grow rice. So, what he can do is, he can exchange his excess production of cabbages with a person who grows rice or paddy fields. Let's say paddy field, right? Or let's say rice, just rice, okay? A person who grows rice. So let's say B grows rice. So these two parties can actually do an exchange. And here what happens is a barter system. This is what you call a barter system, right? Right. I hope you understood this properly. So make sure to remember these two statements as well, right? excess of production, let me complete here. Excess of production was exchanged, right, with other goods. හරි එතකොට මම කියන්නේ අර වැඩිපුර හදපු දේවල් තමයි අපි ඒ කාලේ මිනිස්සු හරි exchange කළේ. Right, now I think you should write these 2 extra points in your book. It's better for you, right? But I didn't give this in the physical class, but these are helpful. Anyhow, I'm testing these, important points in your revision paper. But if you really need, you should write this. And it's better to write actually, right? Right. So, no need to write the example, okay? You can keep it in your memory. Right, now let's move on to the third stage, right? For the after barter system, what happened? People actually did the exchange system, but they used a medium, and you call it exchange medium or medium of exchange, right? You call it medium of exchange. So people use certain valuable things as a medium of exchange. What can be used as a medium of exchange in the ancient times? Especially certain metals like iron, right? Maybe bronze, even gold, right? And then, teeth of some animals like tigers, right? What else? You must have heard this. So people actually, in this third stage, they used a medium of exchange, and they exchange goods with this medium of exchange. Let's say once again, let's apply this system to the previous example. We had A, right? And we had B. Now what happens? Let's say A wants to buy rice, okay? And this time he doesn't exchange his cabbages for the rice. This time he gives a medium of exchange. Let's say some piece of iron, right? As an exchange medium, as a medium of exchange. So a medium of exchange, B gives rise to A, right? B gives rise to, let's change the arrowheads. B gives rise to A, right? And A gives a medium of exchange to B. So that's what happened in the third stage. Are we clear, Puta? Right? So barter system stopped, right? And then they started same, they continued the same system of exchanging, but they used a medium of exchange, right? උවමාරු මාධ්‍යයක් පාවිච්චි කරා. ඒක තේරෙනව නේද? ලොකුට සිංහලේ කතා කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. කලින් නම් goods වලට goods exchange වුණා. දැන් මේ වෙලාවේ මේ කේස් එකටම අපි apply කරොත් ඔන්න මේ අපි හිතමු ඒට rice ඕන නම් එයා හරි rice ගන්නේ medium of exchange එකක් දීලා. සමහර වෙලාවට සත්තුන්ගේ දත් හරි ඊට පස්සේ metal parts වගේ දේවල් ගොඩක් use වුණා ඒ කාලේ medium of exchange විදිහට. Okay, clear, right? Okay, Buddha, now I'm going to add more to the third stage. Okay, later on, people discovered so-called money. So after the discovery of money, people used money as a medium of exchange. So no more pieces of metal, tiger teeth. Now people use money as a medium of exchange. So money means coins and notes. So at the present, people have to pay money to obtain the goods and services that they need. Right? So Puta, what happens nowadays? At the present, people have to buy goods and services by paying money. Isn't it? අද කාලේ මිනිස්සුන්ට තමන්ට අවශ්‍ය දේවල් ගන්න නම් සල්ලි ගෙවන්න වෙනවා. So money came into place. So this is the golden era of businesses, right? So people started businesses to earn money, right? And people started businesses to fulfill human needs and thereby to earn money. The other කාලේ වෙන්නේ මිනිස්සු සල්ලි හම්බ කරන්න දැන් businesses පටන් ගන්නවා. අපිට අවශ්‍ය goods services ගන්න සල්ලි ඕනේ. එතකොට මිනිස්සු පටන් ගත්තා තව කෙනෙක්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් සම්පූර්ණ කරලා ඒකෙන් මුදල් හොයන්න. Right. The next stage. Right. Now the next stage is called Industrial Revolution. Have you heard this? Industrial Revolution. Now, because of this Industrial Revolution, people started more businesses, especially factories, commodity manufacturing businesses. That means actually goods manufacturing businesses, right? Goods manufacturing businesses. They manufactured goods using machines, right? Because earlier people used to manufacture by hand, manually. But after the Industrial Revolution, people started manufacturing using machines. So this is like a turning point of, businesses, right? So there were a lot of, especially factories. There were factories. Factories were emerged from this Industrial Revolution. Then Puta, globalization. Because of globalization, what happens? What happened actually? Due to globalization, that means due to the mutual relationship with foreign countries, people started international trade, right? People, businesses were formed to, sell their goods to the foreign countries, right? So international trade began. So this is another turning point of businesses. Businesses not only catered for their nowadays, but let's see, we are talking about the history now, so I'm going to tell you in past tense, okay? Businesses not only tried to cater their needs and wants of the local customers, but also they tried to, satisfy, fulfill the needs and the wants of the foreign people who live in other countries, right? So after globalization, Puta, we live in this stage now. We call it what? It's actually e-commerce. What do you mean by e-commerce? E-commerce means, Puta, this is where we live now, actually, where this is the current place of the businesses now. E-commerce means electronic commerce. E means electronic, right? E samanendana electronic kena meaning ekata. So what's the meaning? What's the meaning of electronic commerce in simple terms? Buying and selling. We buy and sell goods or even services online. Nowadays, people buy and businesses sell goods and services online using the internet. So you call it electronic commerce. So because of electronic commerce, there are e-businesses now. We have e-businesses now. So you don't have to have a certain location, right? You don't have to have a physical premises. You can operate online as a business, right? Nowadays, businesses are formed online, operate online. නේ? හරි දැන් මේක ටක් ගාලා මම පොඩ්ඩක් සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් පුතා මුලින්ම මිනිස්සු තිබුණේ self sufficiency එකක් තිබ්බේ. self sufficient era එකක් තිබ්බේ මිනිසුන්ට අවශ්‍ය දේ ඒගොල්ලෝම හදාගත්තා. ඊට පස්සේ මිනිස්සු goods වලට තව good එකක් හුවමාරු කරලා තමන්ගේ needs satisfy කරගත්තා. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ සල්ලි ආවට පස්සේ සල්ලි වල introduction එකත් එක්ක ඇත්තටම තමයි businesses හොඳටම turning point එකක් වගේ සෑහෙන්න businesses පුළුවන් තරම් ඇති වුණා. මොකද මේක නිසා මිනිස්සු ආදායම් මාර්ගයක් විදිහට businesses කරන්න ගත්තා. හරි. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක ඊට පස්සේ වුණ මේ industrial revolution එකේ ගොඩක් factories බිහි වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ goods manufacture කරන businesses ඇති වුණා. ඒකට machines ආවා. අතින් වැඩ කරනවා වෙනුවට මිනිස්සු machines පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ දේවල් හදන්න ගත්තා. right? ඊට පස්සේ මොකක්ද ආවේ? globalization පිටරටවල් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු වැඩි වුණා. ඒ නිසා පිටරටට පවා තමන්ගේ products විකුණන්න businesses try කළා. හරි? සහ විකුණුවා. සහ ඒක දැනටත් වෙනවා. ඉතින් දැන් අලුත්ම දේ තමයි ඇත්තටම මේ අපි e-commerce පාවිච්චි කරන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ e-businesses තමයි දැන් තියෙන්නේ ගොඩක්. සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති. ඒ වගේ business වලට මෙහෙම certain location එකක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. කිසිම location එකක් අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. internet එකේ තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ operate වෙන්නේ. Right? Now, what is the newest trend? AI. Right? Don't know what will happen because of AI. Right? Let's see. There will be another grid after this. No. Right. So this is the last, current location. Right? This is our current location now. So let me put arrows like this. Right? This is like a flow chart, no? This is like a flow chart. Okay. Right. Now, again, I have to remind you, Puta, you don't have to study this everything. Just like a story, keeping in your memory. But know the definition of barter system, actually this part. So that's why I asked you to, write this down, right? Especially the definition of barter system. And this point, these 2 points, especially this point, honey? Excess of production was exchanged with other goods, right? Yeah, that's it. So let's learn the next topic then.